is Sammy Valentine, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how I get my ideas. I sent out a little newsletter survey the other day, and this is one of the questions that I got back. I guess I asked a question, you can ask a question too. So, the reader's question was, how do I get my ideas? Now, that's such a weird question because, I don't know, magic and hope, guys. Just joking. They come from everywhere. My biggest sources of inspiration are definitely travel and history. And I think that's because I'm such a big world builder and idea hoarder. I will just collect little fun facts and random things, or situations will just kind of stay with me for a while, and I'll be like, oh, I have to write something about this. When I went to Prague, I definitely got really interested in just Prague as a setting. I know that when I was in Sao Paulo, which is the biggest city in Brazil, and they have all these billionaires there, and they have these crazy tall skyscrapers where people are just doing like a helicopter hop from one skyscraper to the other, like these billionaires. So watching that one day, I just had this idea, what if they were dragons? What if they were riding dragons instead of helicopters so they didn't have to touch the ground? So I get these ideas from everywhere. I do have a whole universe notebook where I keep ideas. Especially there's some independent ideas, but I've been kind of working on, I guess, my own little universe for a number of years now, to be honest. At least 7. I have notes going back for some of these characters and some of these concepts for a long time. And I will, I mean, sometimes they're sporadic. I had about 10 years of a good amount of time of having writer's block where maybe I'd be able to pop out a short story or two a year. So, I would save all these ideas that I had. And this universe by now has a lot of things going on. In fact, it was one of those things when I was writing the Red Witch Chronicles, that's just the tip of the iceberg into this world. That's one of the more accessible starting points because I have all these different characters and adventures, but a lot of them have their own thing because the world that I set up, if you read the Red Witch Chronicles, there are different dimensions. You've already heard the Dreamland, and there's a Fey realm and things like that. And there's other things happening in other parts of the world, in other organizations, in other realms. I do have the eventual plan that it's going to be like the MCU, and Avengers and all come together. And there's a number of big plot points that I want to hit when I bring some of these characters together, because some of them are going to cross over, some of them aren't. But as you can see, I have a lot of ideas. And I mean, some of these characters, they have been waiting in the wings for Red just to get the heck out of the way. They're begging for their stories to be told. I just need to be a faster writer. I think. I mean, some might cross over, and meet Red before getting their own stories. Um, but I'm collecting them. So if I was going to describe myself as a creator, it'd be like a collector. I'm like the Tiger King, but instead of having 120 tigers, I have 120 main characters being like, "You're all gonna get your story, baby. You're all gonna get your story." Um, so yeah, so that's how I get ideas. But ideas, I mean, ideas are just random thought bubbles until you actually do something with them. So I try to plan things out when I write, and I do try to give myself a strategy to go towards, and just how am I going to finish this series. I have up to book 6 plotted in the Red Witch series. I do have ideas on how to extend that with this character because I have some other stuff, but I'm playing it by ear. So I plan out a bunch of things, but I also, it's I want to be a plotter real bad, but I'm definitely have some traits that make me feel like a discovery writer sometimes, because I know that oftentimes if I'm blocked on a plot, or if I feel like I'm just not gelling with the character connection, like right now I'm writing book 4 in my series, and there's this new relationship with Red and what he's doing, and this other character, like I hadn't gotten, a feel for what this is actually going to be. How is this going to gel out? Um, then you start writing, and then suddenly you're like, oh, my outline was wrong. This guy's a bartender. And like somehow like this whole person's story like gets into my head. Like I'm not like trying to be woo woo and say a muse like taps me on the shoulder or something, but I get an idea of what's going on by writing. It's why my outlines and the finished product can be different, like the skeleton's there, but like as things go you have to change stuff, and so I get a lot of ideas just from writing, and then just a synergy of bringing these characters together. So that is, and I think that's one of the ways where, especially like with the writing and actually getting these characters, bringing them to life, that's where I think I get my best ideas, is just from the writing. Because once you kind of start writing one line of dialogue, somebody reacts, it can, even if I'm writing a scene about another character, I can get an idea about a completely different one. Like I was writing this scene with, I think it was Red and Lucas, and for some reason I realized that Vic Constantine's adopted father had adopted him because he wanted to give Vic his GI Bill money. And it was like, what? And that, because that's one, sort of small character thing. It hasn't really come up with any of the books, but it's one of those things that pops into my head. I'm like, okay, now I have a better idea about Vic and his very complicated family issues, which I'm gonna get into more with Vic and stuff like that. But those are the fun ideas that you can get, and that's where I get a lot of my ideas. So to answer your question, I get them everywhere, where I let them come to me. But if worse comes to worse, and I'm really stuck on a plot, I will just write and hunt down those ideas, and that's how I get them. Anyway, I hope this video answered your question. Thanks so much for sending me it and reading my books. Anyway, guys, as always, I'm Sammy Valentine. Talk to you later. Bye.